In tarot, the Fool card, numbered 0, represent new beginnings, boundless potential, and a leap of faith into the unknown. It encourages you to be open-hearted, embrace spontaneity, and trust your intuition as you embark on new adventures. A fool can be defined in different ways and even has some negative connotations to it. Like, oh, be a fool? Does that mean I could just rob a bank and set the world on fire? No, but honestly, I do have days where I be having thoughts like that given concerning directions of society right now. The fool I'm talking about is one that represents pure, unbridled potential. How we're being a fool matters just as much as why we're being a fool. So yes, you can still be a fool and be soulful about it. I've always done the societal way of moving, which is to find a stable, high-paying job, go through the interview process, get the job offer, and then move and get settled there. But here's the problem to that. I didn't feel a sense of environmental belonging. I'd either get overstimulated or uninspired to where I live. When I traveled, I would feel a heightened sense of aliveness to certain places. So all my experiences and traveling and moving has taught me that our environment can have a significant impact on our well-being. In environmental psychology, lighting, noise, crowding, and spatial design has a direct effect on our mood, stress levels, and cognitive performance. I find that clean, open spaces, especially with access to nature, induce feelings of belonging for me, and I can think more clearly. This maybe has something to do with humanity originating in nature or something. While I also agree that a sense of belonging and freedom is within us, no matter where we are in the world, I cannot deny the fact that each of us have a very unique design where our nervous system just seems to thrive more naturally in certain places in the world. So some people may feel a stronger spiritual connection in the dry desert mountains, while others may feel it more in an ocean or a forest. Someone who's more drawn to surf giant waves rather than shredding big mountains. Like how different fish species are designed to either be in saltwater or freshwater. So then there's the societal voice of just select the place you want to go online and look for jobs there, and then move once you get the job offer. Yeah, here's the thing about me. Why the hell would I wait for a job offer, especially if I know where I want to go? The fool has a strong sense of what they want and is not going to wait for some societal permission to go after it. Though I understand there can be value in calculated risks, but we can only calculate so much to the point where we're now micromanaging and over-intellectualizing the process. The more we analyze potential problems, the more our brain becomes wired to see obstacles instead of opportunities, therefore keeping us in a fixed state of mind. However, I do understand that when we've gone through traumatic experiences, a nervous system gets locked into a fixed state of mind to keep us safe by clinging to the known, the familiar, and all that stuff. It's our body's strategy to keep us alive. The fool does not deny this pain. When we're in a fixed state of mind, we don't need to change or fix it right then and there. Like, imagine telling someone having an anxiety attack or in deep depression to, oh, just have a growth mindset, or, oh, just remember to be grateful and just think positive thoughts. Being told to just think positive or have a growth mindset while going through emotional distress is like being told to learn how to swim better while drowning in a pool. It is extremely ineffective. The protective walls that our body creates for us are here to look after us. So the fool would just explore which walls may have some doors to a possibility. There is no urgency in this process because the doors will appear at its own pace. So being the fool that I am, I took a leap of faith to take on a massive financial risk and moved across the country to a city I've never been to. I just know that this next place needed to have the following. Now that I'm here, I do admit it's expensive as hell to live here. So all our savings are running out pretty quickly. So my next step was to figure out a way to afford continuing living here without having to sell my soul. So what I would do is I physically printed out my resumes. I would drive to places that are hiring, apply to jobs through Craigslist, gig apps, and would face a couple rejections here and there. But I continued to trust the process because I knew what I wanted. I also had to be mindful to not do any of this from a desperate, hasteful state of mind. Because whenever I'm in a state like this, I end up attracting unpleasant things. I talk about how this works in one of my previous videos. So I loosened my grip to find a job that would pay the bills of my new lifestyle. I would balance my days with activities that made me feel good, like going to the beach, having conversations with elderly strangers, going on my longboard, and overall having fun and remembering to dance along like how a fool would go on about it. I had to just trust that this path I'm on is unfolding exactly as it should be, even though I don't know how the future outcome would turn out. Then, 5 weeks later, I found a job that sounded super fun, yet also challenging. So I got curious, I applied, got interviewed, and received an offer. But anyway, I did not settle for any opportunity that just said yes to me. I knew what I wanted, and I noped anything that wasn't in support of that. If I have to convince myself through some rational analysis to bypass the feeling of my heart not being in it, it's not for me. My heart, my gut feelings, my entire nervous system are also in the committee of any decision process. So the opportunity I have now involves doing things I love while getting paid for it. As amazing as it sounds, it can also be mentally, emotionally, or even physically challenging. I find that the more my ego and self-limiting beliefs are involved in that process, the more pain I experience. Our limiting beliefs act as layers to protect ourselves in order to survive. So the more layers I have to rip off, the more painful it can be. And as soon as my growth gets stagnant in any opportunity, like a job, that's the kind of pain I don't allow to continue. So when it starts to creep up on me, it's time for me to let it go. So I'm here to say, be a fool. To be a fool is to have full belief in yourself and the process. You don't have the qualifications for the job? Apply anyway if your heart tells you. If you get rejected, then you'll know. We must willing to get rejected until rejection becomes our bitch. Back in college, I faced countless rejections for internships because little did I know the universe was cooking something better for me. I got accepted to do AI research that had a GPA cutoff of 3.5. I had a 2.6. Out of thousands of applicants, my below average ass got accepted and received a much higher pay. And since then, I started landing other internships. Take Einstein, who faced numerous rejections throughout his life. He failed his college entrance exam, struggled to land academic jobs after graduation, and had his doctoral dissertation denied. Even with his brilliant ideas that redefined physics, he was unable to secure a teaching job for years. So for the meantime, he worked short-term jobs to pay the bills, like tutoring and substituting. Eventually, he landed a job in a patent office that exposed him to practical engineering problems. And at the same time, the pace wasn't demanding enough, so he had all this time to daydream and do thought experiments. While the patent office wasn't an academic position, it gave Einstein the stability, exposure, and creative freedom that got him to publish 4 papers that completely revolutionized physics. To others, working at a patent office instead of a university might have seemed like a dead end or even foolish. Yet, such foolish steps had the ability to launch his scientific career. Instead of securing a respected academic job, Einstein took an ordinary, non-prestigious job in a patent office. He seemed to have stepped into an uncertain path, aka tapped into his inner fool. There's this idea that everything in the universe is constantly changing and flowing, aka nothing stays the same forever. This is called the universal flux. So, a fool's way of being involves exploring without a clear destination, just purely guided by curiosity and trust. The journey is less about the end goal and more about participating in the dynamic flow of life. Be a fool. Stand up for what you believe in, even if you might get some disapproving looks. The disapproving looks are from people who are just scared. They're terrified of breaking free out of their own little comfortable prisons of limiting beliefs. But deep down, they too yearn to soar and be free with their wings, to feel the wind elevating them into new heights, into the unknown. Let's be an example for them. True change makers will do some of the most insane shit that no one would even touch. Be a fool, afraid to speak your truth because you might disrupt the peace or stability. Speak it anyway. Feel the nervousness rushing through your veins. Feel your heart beating so fast that it's cheering for you. Feel your face flushing with heat red and the palms of your hand sweating. That means you're alive, my friend. Be a fool, afraid things won't turn out the way you had hoped. Welcome to being human. When things don't turn out the way that we hope, I find that they usually turn out way better than we imagined. And if they turn out worse than we imagined, then we'll just get wiser and level up our ability to sit with the suffering of others, which, in my opinion, are seeds of real connection. Now, being a fool may be considered as a crazy loser in society's eyes, but society's approval is not a metric of your worth, of anyone's worth, really. As long as you see yourself as a winner through the eyes of your own creative soul, through the eyes of heaven, the universe, God, whatever term resonates, you'll have a never-ending supply of inner richness that no one or any external circumstances can take away from you. Now, let's take a deep breath together. And always remember the magic within you. Till next time.